Greetings, beautiful people. Dr. Dominique Reese here, president of Reese Financial Services, where I am the chief financial coach, consultant, and strategist. And I am excited for today's live because we're going to go into story time today. Now, let me start by saying these works that I will be reading today are not my own. They are the works of great Dr. Pamela Jolly, The Narrow Road, A Guide to Legacy Wealth. This book is changing my life, as well as being the basis for the work I'm going to be doing in the Master My Money Wealth Incubator, coming soon. So save the date for April 1st. I'll tell you that right now, because that will be orientation where you can come and learn all about the Master My Money Wealth Incubator. It will be for both men and women, and I am talking directly to the women. Everything in divine order. I'm a woman. I know how to talk to women and men. I know a lot of men watch my lives. Thank you, Father, and thank you for tapping in. You are more than welcome to join this incubator because everything that we're doing applies to you as well and how you're building wealth or not building wealth. But it first starts with freedom. So I want us to focus on freedom that then leads us to wealth. All right. So it became very apparent that um, I just, I couldn't say it any better. I think Dr. Jolly has said it best. So I want to read from her book, The Narrow Road, just a few concepts that really bring together some concrete ideas about building wealth that again we don't know this. I know you don't know this because I don't know this. I'm celebrating 20 years in financial services this year, but this is the research that it that is that we will only get when one woman goes out and does it. And that's what Dr. Pamela Jolly has done. So you need to tap into what this is about because a lot of us are out here creating income, which is great. I'm not sure that we're creating wealth. I mean, some of us may be. I don't know your personal financial situation. And I'm just saying. So here we go. Story time, like we did in elementary school. Let me read to you. And I loved reading. All right. So I'm going to skip around, but there's some key things that we need to understand. And again, it goes back to understanding our past, understanding our parents and how they deposited into us, and our mindsets about money, how we were trained. Like, this is just gold, but it affirms everything that I've been saying. Wealth's journey requires a series of decisions that over time build, grow, and expand savings and investments of our talents. We all know this. Okay. So, why can some people pass wealth from generation to generation while others seem to remain stuck in the income lane? This is the question I asked of the elders in my study because they'd seen a lot of wandering in the wilderness. And she's talking about the financial wilderness. I wanted to get their glimpses of the dark places that seem to elude us generationally. Her language is powerful. One woman said, there is no roadmap for the systems that operate around one's life work. Most folks just know how to work with what's in front of them. Pamela, if you want more people to build wealth, well, you're going to have to draw a map for them to see it and then teach them how to believe it. She had built wealth in her lifetime, owning several homes and land that went as far back as her great grandfather. But unfortunately, because both of her college educated sons could not find work and lived in her home, she feared they would spend their inheritance while she was alive. Though her wealth would sustain their lifetime, it would not pass on. Even if some were left, neither of her sons were married or had children. No one beyond her offspring would be able to see what she had worked so hard to build. She knew this was a travesty. Wow. Now, let me just say, there's a few things there, right? The fact that this woman who had built wealth is telling Pamela that many won't achieve wealth because they don't know what it looks like, right? There's no roadmap for them. they don't know what to do. We could figure it out like we've been doing, right? And most of us won't make it that way. We gonna do something right, we go do something wrong, go do something that costs us a mistake. So I thought that the elder saying that we need a roadmap is powerful. And again, she's achieved it. So who we go listen to, right? So going back and understanding that history, in order to go forward, you gotta go back. So I'm so proud that Dr. Jolly did this, right? Like she did the work for us to really get the data to see and hear what people who have built wealth have said about it. Now this woman herself had two children, but clearly they were not doing much with their own resources. So she knew that they would spend their inheritance while she was still alive. Whereas most inheritance are meant to take place right when you're gone. Another thing, she knew it wouldn't pass on because they didn't have children. That's human capital. Human capital is a part of our wealth. So those of us who have children, it is now our responsibility to make sure that the wealth gets passed on. Train up our children, right? Now it's truly on them if they are suited and ready for it. And like this woman, she knew her sons weren't ready for it. So it wouldn't pass on beyond them because one, they don't have any children to pass it on to, and further, they seemingly didn't have the skills is either to do it. Let's keep going. Work and even social life are a constant stream of decisions. The common element in these decisions is that they are not made in isolation. Income creators often have blind faith in the harvest that will come after the work has been completed. Wealth systems are different from work systems. Wealth creators have unblinded faith that their investments will reap a harvest over time. They invest in the unseen promises of what is to come and have been accustomed to looking for hidden treasures. Mm, wow. Wow, wow, wow. She then says, it was clear on my journey that wealth creators have a financial strategy for their lives that becomes tradition and is passed from generation to generation. So now my question to you becomes, what financial strategy are you implementing that actually works and can become a tradition that is passed down? It actually works, so you're passing it down. Wealth creators learn to value intangible currencies such as cultural, intellectual, and social capital and use them to access and build even more wealth. So now the question becomes, what cultural capital, intellectual capital, and social capital are you building? And you might be like, well, what are those types of capitals? Another video. Okay. So then she says, well, no, I'll leave that for another time. So this was powerful. It's powerful because now we hear from an elder who has built wealth and her perspective about why wealth isn't being passed from one generation to the next. There's no roadmap. So Dr. Pamela Jolly set out to build the roadmap. And her version of it is called the narrow road, which is biblical because the road is narrow. Only so many will pass through the gate, and then those who pass through the gate identify this narrow road. It's almost like the road less traveled, right? That same concept. Not many go to the road that's less traveled. That's why it's called the road that's less traveled. So think about that. I need you to start thinking about the road you're on. And is it the road that many travel? Is it a wide road where many are? But the road to wealth, it's a narrow road. That's why it's not passed on in our communities because not many are on the narrow road. So now you have to ask yourself, what road are you on? Are you income creating all the time, or are you in a wealth creating mode? And how do you know when you switch from one to the other? Well, you may not know, which is why you may need to work with a professional, depending on the asset levels that you have. So it becomes, I mean, I think I'm biased, right? Um, but I think the more you immerse yourself in wealth creation, learning about it, the easier it becomes to see the path to it. Now, there are levels to this. There are levels to this. And that's why I love, thank you, Father, that I'm building the Wealth Incubator, the Master My Money Wealth Incubator. And there's 3 stages to this incubator. The first stage is financial freedom foundation. You've got to have a foundation that is solid financially. Without it, you're just going to keep starting over and over, right? You're going to keep starting over and over. So that needs to be the first stage of this incubator. It's got to be a space for us to build a solid foundation. Otherwise, there's nothing to build on top of that. Without a solid foundation, anything you build will crumble, will fall, will sink. First stage is the financial freedom foundation. Second stage is build assets. So this is all about investments. And when you graduate from stage 1 of the incubator to stage 2 of the incubator, that is what you will be focused on, building assets. This is the money that works for you. This is investing. And there are several asset classes, and we will introduce those asset classes in stage 2 of the incubator. But in order to get to stage 2, you got to get certified in stage 1 and make sure that your foundation is solid. If you don't have a solid foundation, you can't graduate to building assets. This is my version of our roadmap. Then stage 3 is about growing those assets. So that idea of like investing in businesses, right? And becoming an angel investor, being a part of a private equity fund. Now your money is growing. You've got more money to invest in bigger projects. So maybe you start purchasing real estate, become a real estate development corporation. Maybe you start investing in businesses. Maybe you start developing businesses. Like that's where now you've got enough income that your bills have way been taken care of. We not even talking bills no more. We not even talking income and expenses. We're now talking assets and liabilities, right? And if you see in your mind the progression of that thought, right? It comes from the income and expenses at the financial freedom foundation level, right? That's all about income and expenses, getting your foundation solid. But once we start building assets, now we talking assets. Once we start growing them assets, now we talking assets and liabilities because that's where you also learn not to use your money. And the concept of OPM, other people's money, that's when that comes into play. So there are levels, and it's my goal to help us understand the levels, identify where you are in the levels, and then start to work the systems. Work the systems. Dr. Jolly said it. There's a difference between work systems and wealth systems. So if there's a difference, we need to understand the difference, understand what systems need to be worked when, and then understand when to graduate to a new system. And this isn't to identify like, oh, you're in the work system or you're still creating income. Everything in divine order. Be where you're supposed to be and knock it out the park. And that's where, and I'm gonna talk about this another day, accountability and consistency come in. I've recognized this. Dr. Jolly affirmed it in her book, and I've worked with over 500 plus clients. So I've seen this for myself. We lack financial accountability and we lack financial consistency. And because of that, when we are in our systems, in your income system, in your wealth system, if you don't have the accountability and the consistency, you will fail and have to start over again. Which is why, again, many of us don't even make it down the wealth road because we keep having to start over in the income road. I have done it myself. I know it to be true. I know it to be true. So, having accountability and consistency, which simply means having a way to do what you said you would do, that's the accountability, and then to do it regularly, to not miss a beat. That's consistency. Budgeting consistently, whether it's once a week, twice a month, not missing a week, not missing a month. What you track increases. So if you are budgeting regularly, you're tracking your money will increase. But the minute you fall off, thank you, Father, because I know what it's like to fall off. The minute you fall off, the system is broken. And then you got to start all over again. Get back in the habit. So, income creating versus wealth creation, right? Two different systems. Which system are you on? And do you have the roadmap for the system that you're on? If not, you need to be considering the incubator. Save April 1st for orientation so you can come and learn all about what it is. And then if it's something that you need to be a part of, there will only be 10 spaces for the incubator. It's got to be small and it's got to be intimate. I will share more about it on April 1st at the orientation. Save the date. And this is where we are about to put the rubber to the road. No longer will we be beautiful and broke. Now we will be beautiful and abundant and be able to do all the things that our heart desires with our money, right? Which is have a good life, a great life for ourselves, and be able to help others. Because I find that every client I've ever worked with is concerned about more than themselves. Others are involved some kind of way. They care about other people, their family, their spouse, their children, their community. It goes beyond them, which already tells me we are bound for wealth. We are bound for legacy wealth, wealth beyond us, because we care about those outside of ourselves. So take that into your day today. Think about the system that you're on. If you're in an income creation system, or if you are truly on your wealth creation system, and if you have the roadmap to get to the freedom that is at the end of the income system, that will then graduate you to your wealth system. And if you're in your wealth system, then you should be building wealth already, right? You got assets, you've got money put away, you've got the foundation. There's things that you can check off and be like, yep, that's all straight. Now it's about growing my assets beyond me so that there's actually something to leave behind. And do you have the roadmap to do that? So that's what I want you to think about today. And in thinking about it, if the answer is no, I don't have the roadmap to my freedom. No, I don't have the roadmap to my legacy. You might need to check out the incubator. Or simply hit me up if you got questions about, like, what you think you should be doing next. All right. Oh, I'll also just say the month of March, I have 3 private client slots available for the month of March. So I will put in the chat the link for you to schedule uh, an appointment. An appointment simply gets us on the phone. We can meet each other. We can talk. I'll understand what's going on with you financially. I'll share with you how I work with my clients and what the offer is. But it's basically 3 months of private financial coaching for new clients. This is my new client offer, right? So it's private coaching. I work one on one with you. I talk to you. We meet up once a month at minimum. It's not a course. It's not do it yourself. It's done with you. Okay. And so we identify 1 to 3 goals. We get to it. That's it. 90 days, change your financial life. Okay. So 3 slots available, and I already have 4 calls scheduled. So we're going to see how that works out, right? Everything in divine order. So come on, let's go. I'll drop the link in the comments, and let's get you scheduled. Let's see if now is a good time. And why wait? Why wait? Have a great day. Be productive, be prosperous, be peaceful. Dr. Dominique, peace.